This is a GCSE drama student's idea of what a deep romance should be. You need proof? Just look at the title. Man.
We just need someone to share it with.
Everywhere I go leads me back to you.
I truly believe that there is life yet for the fantasy genre somewhere in cinema, but this is not the place. This is the ultimate film for Tumblr writers who believe that the trope where two people catch eyes from underneath their umbrellas on a rainy day in the middle of a busy city is the greatest thing since Mozart, and they will belligerently fight for it to dominate cinema. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey feels like it needs a comma somewhere in that title, and it stars Margot Robbie and Colin Firth as two people who go to a wedding, are introduced, refuse to get to know each other, but are told by their magical, possibly nefarious AI GPS systems that they rented that they should get together and go visit doors in the middle of buttfuck nowhere where they can visit their past memories and also some things that are not their memories. It's a slightly confusing film, but the most amusing thing that's ever happened in cinema, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that these magical AI systems seem to be sponsored by Burger King, because that's the first place it takes them. So this film pretty much stars Margot Robbie as a deeply flawed person who has become her mother, is still obsessing over her mother's death more than a decade on, cheats on every partner she's ever had, and pushes people away with the force of an incoming tsunami. And Colin Firth is a guy who sometimes falls out of love after falling in love with someone. And those things are basically trying to be like presented as being equal, but also we spend way more time like him just like chilling, talking to his dad in past memories, and her like just having breakdowns and telling him how terribly shit she is, and him being like, no, you're not, but without any proof, because like she's not great. It's such a weird, uneven thing where they're trying to be like, yes, these are two flawed people. Maybe she's a whole lot more flawed than he is, but it boils down with them trying to be so deep all the time throughout this film. It boils down to him having daddy issues, minor, and her having mommy issues, major. I feel the real fantasy here is that anyone would stick around after getting trauma dumped on this hard out on the first date. The surrealism works to a degree, the writing is just yucky at times. This is like a Christmas Carol for two people at once without the future bit. It's an idea that's not really suited well to anything, but definitely not to film. You can get away with this as a novel maybe, but it was, for what it is, it's super predictable. Like, oh, what are the traumas in your past? Well, for her, 90% of these things relate to her mother in some way, and her mother's death, which she's still super obsessed with a decade on. I know, bad that your mother died, but like, that is the only thing that it explores about like her life, really. So it's like, okay, don't see how that's going to just fix everything immediately for her. It feels like a therapy session for each of them, but it's super focused in on like one thing each, instead of trying to broaden out and touch on all aspects of their life and how they truly got to who they are. My point is that this idea does not work if you don't have incredibly written dialogue. The writing has to be so good in this case, and it's just not. It's just kind of greeting cardy. It feels like, despite trying to be so deep, they're barely scratching the surface of what they could have done with this idea. I like both of these actors, but Margot Robbie's hair looks like she's deep in the same midlife crisis as the writers of this film. All of the I'm not interested in romance or I'm not built for romance stuff while looking like Margot Robbie, it feels super played out. And Colin Firth, I don't know, I don't feel like he's overly built for romance films. It's a weird vibe. Although I will give him a lot of credit for having one of the best, like, bits of range shown in acting, going immediately from playing Oswald Cobblepot to this. That is fantastic. I love that. Overall, this is a film that I sat through, and I never felt like, oh god, I want to leave. But I also never, like, I never felt like it was getting anywhere near, like, the kind of emotional gut punches it was going for me. It was like it was trying to be a Pixar movie for grown-ups, and instead it was like a modern Pixar movie for grown-ups. The ones that suck, you get what I mean. Anyway, I'm giving a big, bloomin', busty, bangin', bloody, whatever, 3 stars. Yeah. Not that it's like, it's not bad. It's not, but I wouldn't rewatch it. Like, it just, yeah. Like Materialists, I feel like there's a lot of romance films going for like the deep, like, oh, this is how you go from hating romance to loving it film, and they're not reaching it.